Joy. All the evidence we have right now points to a common culprit. And it's you. So make our lives easier and tell us why you killed each of the victims.
It amazes me how you think I, a mother, a teacher, a well-respected woman around the community, could kill 6 innocent people. Do you really believe I'm that heartless? What makes you think this is all not just a coincidence? My mother and father-in-law were very old and hardworking people. They worked their entire lives for the benefit of our family. My husband ran his shop and cared for our family the best he could after the passing of his parents. So why would I put myself in such a helpless position by killing all the people who loved and cared for me? Don't you think the Lord would have called them to end their misery on earth and finally be at peace in their afterlife?
Your husband, Ray, whom you speak so highly of. What if I said you were intolerant to the fact that Ray was an incompetent man, incapable of taking care of his family business? You couldn't live your lavish lifestyle with the money he made and bared him for the sake of the kids and finally decided to poison him when you had enough.
Those are all accusations. I refuse to fall into your malicious tricks, and if it makes you feel any better, there's no way that I poisoned him. He did not even eat anything the day he died.
And how do you explain the food contents in Ray's stomach? And the cause of death being cyanide poisoning?
His death was not my fault.
Yes, it was, Joy. Now tell us what happened.
It was not me. It was not me. Please, officer, you have to believe it was not me.
All the evidence and the witnesses say otherwise. No single loophole is left in the system to protect you from the unthinkable you have done.
A few days before Ray's death, Ray's brother Roland called me. Roland, you don't understand. This man you call your brother is incapable of caring for me and my kids. He gets up every morning and leaves for his shop as if everything's all right, but I have to entertain all his loan sharks and goons that come on behalf of his lenders. Now, imagine this, juggling my job and having to take care of my kids.
I understand your situation, Joy. But Ray's just going through something. Never say he's incapable. He looked after you and the kids for this long after the passing of Mum and Dad, and always tries to help me and Renee whenever we ask.
You can't advocate for him much longer, Roland. You and Renee, his brother and sister, you might know him well, maybe even better than me to some extent at this point. But I live with him, and I cannot pretend to be blind at his ignorance any longer. I will give this marriage 1 more month for the sake of my kids. And if things don't work out, I don't want you or Renee to be surprised by the court notice I serve your brother. After the phone call, I stuck to my word. I gave our marriage time, but he never showed any signs of improvement. We lived the same mundane lifestyle, and I couldn't take it any longer. I was getting impatient and stressless in this relationship. A few days before he died, Ray tried to confront me about the relationship I had with Matt, a friend of mine.
I find it very unsettling how the both of you sneak around and always have a couple of whispers to share, even if there is a full room of people inside. How do you think that makes me feel, knowing my wife prefers to be with her friend rather than be by my side?
Oh, you disgust me, Ray. I never thought you would have the nerve to question my loyalty towards you. You've changed. This is not the man I married, and this is definitely not the man I fell in love with.
Loyalty. You have a lot of nerves yapping about loyalty. Maybe I should ask Matt how you're like when you're loyal.
You will regret this, Ray. You will regret the fact that you questioned my integrity after everything we've been through together. Here I was, giving our marriage a second chance, and all he did was accuse me of cheating on him with my friend. I found it highly offensive that he thought so shallow of me. I didn't want to get a divorce from him, which would make him think I had something to hide. And staying with him would be torturing my kids and myself for the rest of our lives. So just like how I took care of Anna and Tony, Ray's mom and dad, I took care of Ray too. I called Matt. He's got this local goldsmith that works with cyanide. It was not the first time he had sold it to me, and I trusted Matt. He proved trustworthy after the first 2 deaths in the family. Ray will go to work around 9:30 tomorrow morning, like he always does. So come over around 10:30, and you can pass me the stuff.
Okay, I'm not letting anyone know I'm coming over to you, so don't mention it to anyone.
Sure, I won't.
Okay, I'll see you tomorrow then.
Okay, bye. God, what took you so long? Finally, you're here.
I got here as soon as I could. I saw almost 5 people I know in the city center, and they all decided to show up today, of all days.
Anyways, did you get the stuff?
This should suffice.
Perfect. This should do the job.
What was this for again?
I've told you a million times not to question me and my doings, Matt. But if it's that essential, you know. There's this coyote that keeps rampaging the family farm, and I want to send it off, so that I don't have to keep torturing myself cleaning up after its mess.
Geez, you might hate this coyote to want to use cyanide on it, of all things. Anyways, you enjoy the killings, and I'll see you later. Be very careful with the powder, and make sure you keep Ray and the kids away from it as well.
Sure, I will. I'll catch you later. Bye. After Matt left, it was pretty much a typical day. I spent the day doing all the work around the house. I broomed and mopped the floors, I did the laundry, and then the kids came back from school. They usually eat and then take a nap and get livelier on the night. But I needed them to sleep by the time Ray came home, so I sent them to play outside. The kids came home around 6-ish, and so I fed them and put them to sleep in the room upstairs. Then Ray came home around 9. He took a shower, prayed, and looked over the kids, whilst I made him food. I made rice and curry and added the cyanide that Matt bought earlier. Ray came downstairs and he sat at the dining table. I went over and kept the food before him. He served himself. He ate as I patiently waited at the kitchen counter. And moments later, I heard a dreadful cough assume control of him. He rushed to the bathroom downstairs and locked himself in. He continued to cough for another minute before the entire house was flooded with silence. I could no longer hear him struggle, so I slowly walked over to the door and called out his name. There was no response, so I gathered myself and began to wail his name so that it wouldn't seem suspicious. Hello? Matt? Matt, could you please come home? Ray was having dinner and suddenly he started coughing and ran to the bathroom and it's locked from the inside. And he isn't responding. I'm really worried. Please come fast.
I'm coming there now.
Matt came rushing home. He broke the door and found Ray on the bathroom floor. He was foaming at the mouth and started going pale. Matt called the ambulance and they took him away. He didn't make it to the hospital. His eyes rolled back, his hands went cold, and his skin dropped down. We got to the hospital and the doctor said he had been gone for almost 20 minutes already. He was gone. Ray was gone. My kids didn't have a father anymore. I didn't have a husband anymore. Roland and Renee didn't have their brother anymore. He was going to be missed by everyone, but at least none of them had to deal with his incompetence.
Do you regret any of it?
Not really. I was unhappy my kids couldn't feel the warmth of their father. But I'd rather have their memory of Ray cease to exist rather than getting attached to the warmth of the man and turn into something like him.